Hello YouTube and Patreon, this is Nathan P. Butler, and this is our project update for the month of May of 2019. I'm actually recording this on the 42nd anniversary of A New Hope hitting theaters, just as Star Wars back in '77, so recording on May 25th. There's not a whole lot to talk about this time because this has been a crazy, crazy month in terms of everything other than producing things for fun. Basically, with this being the end of the school year and the ramp up to summer school, basically all of my different positions have been loaded up by meetings and a whole lot of work, basically. Just kind of an overload of that sort of thing. But as we calm things down here, I'll have about a week of things being not quite as ridiculous. No, actually more like half a week, I guess. And then things get ridiculous again. But we do have a few things to note here that came out since the last update, just to pass those along, and a sense of what is coming in the very near future. To start out with, I do want to take a moment to thank all those who are backers and supporters over there on Patreon. Of course, on Patreon, there are those three tiers. There's that $1 tier, which are the travelers through the Butler universe who get their name in the thanks of videos like these, and eventually we'll be able to get the thanks on the special Patreon thanks page on the next edition of A Saga on Home Video when that comes out here in a year or two or whenever, once it kind of makes sense to put out a new edition and I've had time to really delve into it. And then, of course, we have the $5 tier, the denizens of the Butler universe. These are the folks who are able to also get access, not just to what the first tier got, but also those commentaries that I put out, primarily right now for the Clone Wars, but also for things like Forces of Destiny as they arrive. And then we also have that $10 tier, which are the folks that get access to those exclusive monthly Q&A videos that I do through Patreon. So, on Patreon, we have, again, those three tiers, and among the travelers through the Butler universe this time, we have Ben P. Stein, Martin Dahl, Austin Pierce, Jeremiah Mustard, and S.W. Chris. Then for the denizens of the Butler universe, we have Jason Hunt, Bobby Craig, Robert Medina, Chris Morgan, Sam Howard, Stephen M., Joey Zitzman, Jeff Ellis, and a new member, Chris Lewis. So welcome, Chris. And then, of course, we have our nobility of the Butler universe. Those are the folks who have access to the Q&As. That is Brian Snook, Jonathan Confer, Gary Sherwood, Benjamin Handelman, and Andrew Bettis. So thank you all very much for your support here on Patreon. And yeah, let's get going with what's new, though there's not a whole lot this time. On Patreon, we had our expected stuff, right? So after that April 26th release of the most recent of these project update videos, we had the May 1st release of the audio commentary for the denizens and the nobility of the Butler universe. That was a commentary that launched the Mandalorian arc of the Clone Wars with the Mandalore plot. Then on May 15th, that continued with the next of the commentaries for Voyage of Temptation. So no surprise, the one you'll see on June 1st is going to be the one that wraps that up with Duchess of Mandalore. I also did just sit down, actually last night as of the time I'm recording this, and record commentaries for the next three, which is the season-ending trilogy of episodes for Season 2 of the Clone Wars. So by the time those actually get out the door, we'll have 44 regular episodes of the Clone Wars knocked out, plus the film, plus the first couple of Forces of Destiny's TV specials. So pretty decent amount of commentaries on there if you're thinking about whether or not it's worth jumping in for the $5 in a month to be able to download a whole bunch of stuff. And then, of course, on May the 4th, may the 4th be with you, we had the release of the exclusive Q&A for this month. For those who are members of the nobility of the Butler universe, don't forget, you can stop by the Patreon, put your questions in the May collection thread for questions, and I'll use those when I put together the June of 2019 exclusive Q&A for the nobility of the Butler universe. Beyond that, of course, we have podcasts, and we have a few new releases and some stuff that has been recorded and not released yet. So back on, let's see, it's April 30th. I believe I had actually mentioned that this had been recorded or was about to be recorded, but we had our first post-celebration episode of Cloud City Casino with, of course, Michael Morris, where we sort of recapped a bunch of the things that he saw while at Celebration, and it wound up being something where we didn't actually hit all the things we wanted to hit. We hit quite a bit, but there was still a lot of stuff still to cover. So we came back then on May 10th with the second part of the post-celebration coverage, which was episode 90 for that one and 89 for the previous one. So just since the last of these project updates, we've had 2 episodes of Cloud City Casino, which is almost unheard of. Episodes 89 and 90 with all the post-celebration stuff. For what it's worth, In the first of those, we talked a bit about how they were able to go see, that is Michael and his wife, were able to go see the panel for Vader Immortal, which is exclusive to Oculus Quest, but it's a VR experience that's pretty cool. I've actually now, since the time of recording that, have got the Oculus Quest on launch day on May 21st, and have played all the way through Vader Immortal Episode 1. So probably our next episode of Cloud City Casino, my guess is, we'll be talking quite a bit about the quest and about Vader Immortal Episode 1 in depth, if you're curious about that sort of thing. That would be episode 91. It hasn't been recorded. We haven't even scheduled to record it, but I can only imagine, of course, that's going to be one of the topics, if not the biggest topic of the episode. As for Star Wars Beyond the Films, we haven't had a new release yet since the last of these updates, but we've recorded one, and it's edited. It's just been sent off to Mark so that he can go in and put in all the music and sound effects and that kind of thing. So hopefully we'll see that soon. That is our episode covering the book Master and Apprentice by Claudia Gray. Pretty good book, pretty fun discussion, so you'll see that soon, and it should be pretty good, pretty interesting. Right now, I've just finished reading the uncorrected proofs copy of Alphabet Squadron, and Mark is working his way through Alphabet Squadron as well, so my guess would be that our next episode will either be looking back at some of the Celebration stuff, although it's a little bit after the fact, or it'll be looking at Alphabet Squadron. It just kind of depends on time. But to tide you over in between, I did take a moment to do one of my Beyond the Films text-based non-spoiler reviews up on the StarWarsReport.com website for Vader Immortal Episode 1. So if you're curious about it, but you don't want any spoilers, then that's the place to look. Because my guess would be that whenever we discuss it on Cloud City Casino, and then probably on Star Wars Beyond the Films as well at some point, we'll probably go into spoiler territory just because it's tough to get into some of the nuances of it and what you get to do without spoiling some things. But that text review on StarWarsReport.com is completely non-spoiler, designed to be that way. Then on YouTube, again, not a whole lot of stuff because of how busy this month was. YouTube usually is a load of stuff, not so much this time. We had the release on April 26th, actually the same day as the last update, my breakdown of the Kickstarter game Black Sonata from Side Room Games. Then on May 3rd, we took a look at two new releases for Star Wars Legion. That was the X-34 Landspeeder and the TX-225 GAVW, etc., Occupier tank. So one for the Rebels, one for the Imperials. And then I recorded and uploaded a review for Allies and Adversaries for the Star Wars role-playing game for Fantasy Flight Games. Uploaded that sucker only to realize, as I sat down to record this, that I never actually tweaked the description and made the video public. I just uploaded it from the iPad, and it's been sitting there for weeks. So I'll get that up right before this gets released, so you'll be able to check out that review also of Allies and Adversaries. I also have Rise of the Separatists that finally came in the mail, so pretty soon I'll be doing a video review of that. And then I am still in the process of doing research on stuff back here, so I can do more episodes of From the Star Wars Home Video Library once time finally friggin' permits me to do so. We got some stuff I'm going to need to hook up my region-free DVD player to check out. We got some stuff there from South Korea now added into the mix. Quite a few things to check out. I just need the time to actually get to them, which is kind of the story for the books as well. No news yet on Greater Good and Echoes. That's in the publisher's hands at this point. They're working on like graphic design for the covers and that sort of thing for that upcoming release. As far as A Saga on Home Video 2nd Edition, haven't had time to do anything more with it recently, but I expect to be able to do something more with it over the summer, so we shall see. I am working over the summer, doing summer school, but at least there's no in-person meetings, or very few in-person meetings for any of my county positions. So as long as the kid will allow me, or I get time at night when everybody's asleep, I might actually be able to get some more stuff put together and done for the book, and from the Star Wars Home Video Library and everything else. So, again, a very busy month outside of this stuff, which meant that it's not a very busy month for this stuff, but hopefully that will be picking up again sometime in the near future, particularly as we get into summer session, where, yeah, I'm calling students, I'm monitoring the system and that sort of thing, but the number of meetings where I'm gone for hours and hours at a time, commuting sometimes up to 2 hours in one direction to go to a stinking meeting, that will all be calmed down so that time can be a little more efficiently used, so to speak. But yeah, so more stuff coming, some stuff that should be coming up soon, like the Patreon commentaries that I mentioned, like the next episode of Star Wars Beyond the Films that's recorded, edited, and just waiting for the music and everything, and so on and so on. So expect more coming in the very near future. With that, though, don't want to waste your time just babbling on to fill up time. We actually have a short update this time. Sweet! Not for the best of reasons, because there wasn't a whole lot of stuff, but still, less time to sit here watching me babble on as I burn up in this ridiculous Georgia heat here in the middle of the day. So with that, I'll wrap this up. Again, thank you very much for your interest in these projects. Thank you very much for the support on Patreon for those who are. And yeah, I will catch you in a month for the next of the project updates.